It's a beautiful, beautiful Friday, and I hope that you are great. And thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have called it the Great Reunion, the reunion of the decade, reunion of the century, reunion something. I am so honored to be here at the Benjamin Zulu Show, and of course, you know, I couldn't be here if the gentleman himself was not here. Benjamin Zulu.
I'm also so happy to see you here. I'm saying, wow, the dream is here. People are saying,
yes, yes.
And then we will say the hand of destiny.
Yes, yes, did a thing, and we're here, and I'm really, really excited, not just about being here, but because every time we come together, conversations that are life-changing happen.
And they are rare to find.
Rare to find, especially if they're dished out the way he dishes them out. Then you know they're rare.
They're fished out. The way you fish them out.
Yes, that too. Thank you, Zulu. So today, getting into the meat of things, right? So 5 days ago, our newspapers, news stations, well, across the country, the story that was making headlines was about this gentleman, a policeman, who sprayed his wife with 16 bullets, expectant. And then he turned the gun on himself and killed himself. So how they found out, he asked for permission from work, said he was unwell. But then later they found out he had not taken the rifle back. You know?
Yeah, the way they sign it,
yes.
They leave the arms.
Yes, they did. He didn't. So by the time they found out and went to look for him, he'd already killed the wife and killed himself. And that's why it begs the question, if he really did love her, then why did he kill her? And we've seen this happen in so many instances where people we knew, people we saw, people who were in love with each other, go ahead and hurt each other in such a way. So today we're just getting into all of that, and I don't know where you want to start with this, Benjamin.
You know, I was in Eldoret. You're reminding me how many times I've seen this.
Yes.
I was doing an event in Eldoret over the Valentine's season, and I found that the whole town was littered with the posters and the hype, because they had an event to commemorate their own ability to have been slain in a similar fashion.
Yes, I remember.
They have started the commemoration to enlighten, sort of twilight, and tell people this can happen. There's no need to risk this. That time we discussed, and I told people how to identify a potential killer. And that time we focused on, because the people who had committed those atrocities, that time all of them had the traits of psychopaths.
Oh.
There were about 3 killings in about a week that time.
Okay.
Sort of call them crimes of passion. And because all of them, you could see what people don't usually see. Let me remind you, Mikali, that love is blinding. The moment you feel you are in love, you want to overlook a lot of things to make things work. And we never know. Because somebody asked me today, the aunties from home tell us to stop being selective.
Yes.
And to be accommodating.
Especially if you're my age. Tunachagua sana. Stop it.
Get a man and mold him.
Yes, he will become whatever you create of him.
So, I was telling people that time that society has preached so much compromise.
Yes.
And condoning and adjusting and trying to, as if the marriage were a monument, we must maintain the standing. And if it were the completion of your personality and your existence and the validation that you're a woman and man enough. Society is to blame partially, because most of the people know you will not be happy when you are saving your own life and they don't have details.
Yeah.
That time the focus was, I'm trying to recap and show you that we have 3 people with mental disorders.
Yes.
In love life, the 3 of them are the most common. Sociopaths are very salty and acidic and chaotic, and over time it gets a point where they can't get along with anybody at work or at home.
Okay.
Sociopathy develops, it's antisocial personality disorder. That's usually one. It develops with time.
Okay.
When you hear path, means sickness.
Yeah.
Alright? So sociopath, socially sick.
Okay.
So we hear psychopath, psychologically sick. So
yes.
The path there means pathology. So sociopaths, we don't usually know the language, but we know, this person so chaotic. They get into fist fights, or they get into power fights, they get into gossip, smear campaigns. They're very difficult, and usually it advances with time. When they start in school, they may just be rowdy.
Yeah.
not in fist fights. As they advance, it gets worse and worse. But because they are aggressive, they are easy to identify.
Okay.
So sociopaths, prisoners as they are the least dangerous because you can see it. And
even with the fist fight.
Yes.
Okay.
you are not likely to marry them. And if you marry them, you can see the problem.
Okay.
The problem with psychological disorders is the harder they are to trace, the more dangerous they are.
Okay.
So psychopaths are sociopaths are the least to worry about because you are likely to spare yourself.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. That's true.
The
That's
next
true.
group because narcissists are the most rampant because they are like they suck people's energy and they need to camouflage and get into your life, to attach to your life so that you can host them. They're like a tick or predator who need to suck your life force, to stress you, put you down, bully you, and because they work like snakes, they're very common in relationships. And people don't know how to. The name is even so difficult.
To pronounce it, or even write it.
The concept itself,
is
difficult to crack, and then the name describing it is also difficult. So many times I tell people work with NARC, N-A-R-C.
The end. The end.
Just check NARC, and for now we know you mean narcissist. Because it was named from a Greek mythology, a Greek youth called Narcissus, who also an image on a mirror on water, and he loved the image so much.
His own image.
Yes, but he had not realized. He just saw another person there who he admired so much, who looked so handsome, and he wanted to consummate love that person, only to realize it was him. And since he could not consummate the love, he despaired and drowned. Imagine that's the concept of narcissism. They are so self-centered.
He killed himself because
the frustration that he can't consummate, he can't get that person he loves so much, and that person is himself. When narcissists can't have their way, they better kill. So I will come to today. We are not focusing on them because they are not the people you aimed at. That story is not about narcissism. So narcissists, I have discussed them a lot because 80% of the cases they will be the culprit. 80% of abuse, they kill quietly. Many narcissists can be physically violent, but because of laws and they know how to pretend and get along, they usually use indirect methods, emotional manipulation, blackmail, breaking you down, breaking your spirit. That is the hallmark of all narcissists. There's a degree between affecting your self-esteem and breaking your spirit. There's a difference. A normal person who wants to harass you will intimidate you until you feel you cowed. That's an injury, but it's temporary. When that person is gone, you recover.
Yes.
But a narcissist wants you to question your essence, whether you are anybody on earth. So that long after we have rescued you from them, you might, 50-50 chances you might recover. The damage they cause can cripple you emotionally. I usually tell people, once you see the telltale signs of narcissism, and the first telltale sign is two people in one. When you're in private, they're a devil. When you're before people, they're an angel.
Yes.
When you see that split, this is not a difference you can work through the way your mama will tell you. Just work through it, just talk. People just need to communicate.
No. This is not the one.
Pray. There's a demon here. And the devil is fighting your marriage. Once you see two in one, privately, they're a devil. Cold, grey rock, distant, uncaring, unconcerned, can utter things you have to record on phone for people to believe that it's Mwikali who said this. The Zulu they see on TV, I'm just using examples, who is charismatic and loving and teaching, then privately is calling you names that you can't type.
There's a problem.
Putting you down in a way that it's even difficult for people to believe you. Once you see two in one, that's the first hallmark of narcissism. And I tell them, most survivors must run within 5 years. Most survivors must run away within 5 years. Whether they're children or not, people like to use children to justify their fear and complacency.
I can't just leave.
When you bring up your children, they themselves become narcissists or prepared for narcissistic abuse. The environment itself. So the third category is what you insinuated at.
Yes.
And I will take the time. Now, one, we want to say that psychopaths are slightly different in that they are socially functional. They keep their jobs. They have normal families. You had that woman who killed men.
Yes.
Perfect psychopath. She was a picture perfect.
She was a policewoman.
One guy had already put her in the box and they were going to lodge in public.
Yes. Yes.
He had not seen any potential to kill anywhere. Now, this is the thing with psychopaths. They're psychologically sick and they fantasize and fancy death. And the idea of dominating is killing. The idea of control is to annihilate.
Okay.
It also advances with time. Many of them start by killing cats and hiding the skulls in the backyard. Keeping dead things and trophies as trophies. Keeping photos of villains, historical villains like Hitler. That's the one they are doing.
Oh, okay.
When Vladimir Putin, Russia invaded Ukraine the other day,
yes,
some people said, I love to see war. A normal human being knows this is not a movie. These are people like me and you.
Yes, yes.
And let me tell you that the people of Russia don't want war. We are coming from COVID, the whole world, and almost everybody has lost somebody. Almost everyone has lost someone to COVID.
That's true.
And all we want is to go to work and come back home. True or false?
True.
All healthy people now.
We just want to keep it that way.
Thank you. And I saw them posting, say, let's make this clear. The Russian people, we don't want war. We are friends. We just want to go to work, make meals, and come home to our families and sleep.
But
those who are saying we love war, I would like to see action, they think this is a movie. That's how psychopath believes. So psychopath is one by the idea of control is to kill, to dominate so much and destroy you. The other thing of psychopath is a split between reality and fantasy.
okay.
So they can do things they fantasized and they don't know. That essence that this is real life does not click with them. The third element is they don't have affection. They don't have feelings. They don't care. You have been a psychopath. How to know a psychopath ahead is that you know they are grey rock. They have no feelings. They usually love one person or two in a possessive manner. Maybe their child.
Okay.
Maybe their mother. Mm-hmm. Even when many criminals are psychopaths, and when police hunt them, they look for the one person they love.
Yes.
The trick is they usually have one person they love in a possessive way. They're not capable of loving in a good way. They love in a way that is possessive and controlling. Their child or usually somebody or friend, somebody they have a soft spot for. And that's always, when you track them, many psychopaths become serial killers. And when you look at their face, they're just flat.
You know, I watch true crime stories, and that is so true.
Could you see any feeling on Master's face?
No.
Good.
It's just...
That's a perfect psychopath. Something in them is broken. The human essence, the conscience is dead. But many of them can work, can get a job, can work, can carry out their lives. But those who are close, they know this person is cold-blooded on the other side. If they shed tears, it's a performance. If they cry, it's for a reason. To persuade you that they are good.
Question,
Yes.
Zulu. There are instances where something has happened. Maybe it was a heated argument. It could be from jealousy, or you overly love someone, and then in the heat of the moment, something happens, they hit you, they kill you, right?
Yeah.
And then they wake up and they're wondering, oh my God, what did I do? Would we say that is psychopathic, or is that now something totally different?
A fit of rage. Somebody can have an anger that is out of control, like the prophet Moses, who was a very humble man.
Okay.
He was the most humble man and godly man and good man. Good people can have an anger problem.
Okay.
He saw people fighting, tried to separate them, and he hit one and accidentally died.
Yes.
He was not trying to kill them, he was trying to stop them from fighting. And he was trying to, the next day he found others fighting and realized he'd been found out. The same anger problem followed him because people got to his nerves and he forgot the instructions and did the opposite, and it costed him his destiny. We are saying you can have bad temper that you must control, and stop bragging with it that I have a short temper, don't cross me there. Ask people.
People are very loud about it.
Who's singing it up? Don't cross there.
Mimi, short wire.
That's a vice. It's that vulnerability. In fact, don't tell people where to cross you.
Okay.
Don't mention. You might have studied World War II and realized that people studied weaknesses of Hitler to defeat him, and they realized he was paranoid. So that you are very fearful, suspicious of anger, or if anything gets excessive out of control, that's your weak point. Stop announcing it to the world, conceal it and deal with it. I was one of the short-tempered. I was born with it. I used to cry endlessly. I was a crybaby.
You?
My mother said me, she wanted to call it an exorcist because it looked abnormal.
What? Actually, they did watch to you. Did they think you were actually doing Zulu? Because wow.
The baby who cries, you hand to the father.
Yeah.
And I hate cry babies personally. They give you sleepless nights.
Oh wow.
They have eaten.
See who's talking.
They have eaten.
Yes.
It's not, you can't, you so crying are communication. It's supposed to be for communication.
Yeah.
If you cry when there's no reason, you will know if that's the way you've always cried. And you will suffer, you know. But I came to trace it later. And I grew up with a lot of short temper here. And I would lose myself.
Okay.
So the breaking point was when I roughed up a girl and she reported me in school. You know, she reported me and I was punished.
Okay.
When I was punished, I threatened her again and she reported again. And I was punished again.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to lose it. You wait we get out of the school. You know?
Yes.
And she reports again. And I say, where will this? Because all the teacher took the time to tell me.
Yes.
You know, you may think you're very powerful. Anger deceives you that you're very powerful. And you issue threats you can't even carry out. You know? You say things and and it made me reflect. So I took upon the responsibility now to deal with it. How do I deal with it? I dug for the roots. I found that the man I'm named after is also very bad-tempered and he had ruined his life. Being to prison, being to chaos because of the same anger.
Okay.
I was named after him and I picked after him exactly. Naming is a thing. Be careful.
Okay.
Be careful with naming. So my dad had named me after his brother.
Mm-hmm.
He has only one brother. He don't know one brother, and the brother was this kind of guy who they would fight. You know, he was the one to kind of watch over him, not to get into trouble. You know, when you have a bad temper, you have to be watched over.
Yes. Yes.
Your friends know that you can get into trouble. And many of the time when my dad told me, be careful, your namesake, be careful. You know, you would say it. Careful. And I took a conscious decision to go the opposite, including the spiritual, the praying, and the consciously. Now, the anger was replaced by laughter. Today, I don't get angry, I laugh.
Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
You can deal with your anger instead of broadcasting it like a weakness, like an identity, like something that people should fear you because you have a bad temper. The world does not care, Michael. I'm sorry. A beautiful lady whom we love so much, but surely the world doesn't care. Don't lose your mind, nobody else wants it. Don't lose your temper, everybody has theirs, keep yours.
Absolutely.
So you can kill when you're not pathological. You may not be psychologically sick.
But
if you don't control the heat of passion, and the courts have stopped excusing heat of passion. It used to be a mitigating factor. If you prove that you acted in the moment, it used to be a mitigating. Nowadays it's not. It's an aggravating factor. It's supposed to control your own temper. Because courts are coming to reason that this life is too stressful enough. Everybody is able to get angry. Is that showing us that angry? The only cases where the anger will be counted is when in infidelity, when if a person catches their partner in flagrante delicto, in the very act.
okay.
They can say they were carried, they were overwhelmed by emotions, but there must be no time. You can't say I found them and I went for the gun, then I came back. That period you should have cooled off your anger. It's only excuse when it is immediate and you lost. So you can kill in heat of passion, but be very careful. It will still cost you.
Okay.
Did they give details of? You said something that they did.
So she was pregnant, and so he went to work, left work, went home with a gun. Looks like intention.
They used to live
there.
together.
Yes.
This is the guy who was left in the morning.
Wife.
Okay.
And then the neighbors, when they were interviewed, they said that they never had them argue at all. So most of the cases where you'd find something like that has happened, the question would be, was there domestic violence? Did you guys ever hear them being loud at each other or throwing words at each other? Did you ever see them fight? But then the answer to this one was allegedly no.
I want to tell you the two paradoxes that I believe happened there. 90% or 99% of the chances, from my professional experience.
Okay.
Nobody can wake up and kill without signs. Killing is too extreme. Nobody who has established themselves to do life with you will just wake up and kill. So either it was a psychopath. Psychopaths are triggered by envy, by jealousy. They can be triggered by the fact that they can't control you, the fact that you seem like you have decided to leave them. They can be triggered by anything.
Yeah.
Or it can be the other essence that we all underestimate. And I believe this is what was happening. It was a case of jealousy. There are people who, as you evolve together, as you grow together, you socially, you become more successful. There were two guys who met in college and they decided to become friends, and later on started living together and doing their shows together. They were studying in the London School of Literature and Performance and Arts, Theatre Arts, and they made a very good teamwork. One of them was 3 or 4 years older and he had a lot of inheritance. And then they were using that inheritance to try to stage shows.
It's going to pick it up exactly where we left it off and left you off. And we're talking about the different scenarios of what might have happened with this couple. The policeman who killed his wife.
And we said one might have been a mental disorder. Which mental disorders are common? Sociopaths, and then narcissists, and then psychopaths. Psychopaths and the leading candidates for killing in cold blood.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Why? Because it reaches a point that they want to dominate fully and you're getting out of control.
Yep.
You know, and usually they kill you and kill themselves or just do something extreme because they're not okay. All right.
Yeah.
And we told you signs to watch out for. There's something you're asking me whether.
Yes. Where does it come from? Because I'm just imagining, is it something that you pick up? Is it something that you're born? Is it something that you know, is it something that you experience?
It has multiple causes.
Okay.
Childhood trauma. People might have been so over abused.
Okay.
Until something in them became wounded internally and they have never healed. They began to approach life that way. All right?
Okay.
Other people can become psychopaths by consuming that kind of content until they are mentally trained to exist that way. Be careful. Be careful with the horror movies, serials. Be careful.
No crime stories.
They can be learned. If you find killing entertaining, something in you is changing.
Yes.
Something in you is changing.
I feel like I'm being... But it's okay.
Be very careful.
Okay.
When you find bloodshed, and although people are moving towards more and more what is thrilling, no. There's a kind of content that you can consume and it trains your mind to view the world a certain way.
Okay.
Until you begin to see killing as sport. It's a proof of, the anti-hero mentality. Celebrating bad things.
Yeah.
And they begin to become your ideals. All right? So it can be learned, it can come from trauma.
Yeah.
Then it can also come from when you're grown up and you go through a traumatizing event like a breakup.
Yeah.
Somebody leaves you in a very traumatizing, you lose a person, you feel so vulnerable, lost in the world. If you don't heal, it can also become deep-seated psychopathy. All right? So let's come to the other cause that I told. 1, this might have been a psychopath. 2, jealousy, envy. And envy is usually hidden when you are not powerful. You marry and you are below them and they are very happy.
Yep.
It can be the woman. It's not always the man.
Yeah.
It's women who want to marry a man they can control. And when I'm advancing, becoming more enlightened, becoming more empowered, and I'm becoming less and less enlightened. I'm learning and becoming enlightened and assertive. I'm knowing my place. She might find it impossible to control. She might take extreme measures. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, the second cause could be psychopath, jealousy. The other one is self-esteem. A person who has a low self-esteem is always questioning whether they are losing you, even when you have done nothing wrong, whether they are still woman enough, whether they're still man enough. And then things could be happening in their own world that is challenging their identity more. You might have done nothing significant that changed in your relationship, but in their own world, they could be being challenged about their significance and their power, their beauty or their masculinity if it's the man.
Yeah.
That low self-esteem.
They don't even believe they have you.
Yes. That part, nobody can kill their child, an inborn child when they are in their senses, but the more people diminish in sense of significance. That's why sometimes when you see the victims of the people who kill, when you see the culprit, they look so timid. You're wondering, how could this person kill? Low self-esteem is very dangerous.
What?
But you don't hear it spoken.
No.
Now, a person who has a very low level of self-confidence, self-esteem, and they have arms in hands.
Okay.
Which looks like power.
Yes. So they draw their strength.
So at some point, it can get so desperate or hopeless that it's we better die, all of us. Be very careful. Some people can turn into terrorists when they have little to lose. Stop hanging around with people who have little to lose. The moment people tell you they feel like killing themselves, the first person to get out of the picture is you. But society tells you when people say they want to kill themselves, try and save them.
Yeah. It's like, don't
abandon the person during a hard time.
Yes.
Because the moment I tell you I'm losing value for my life, neither will I see value for your life.
Oh my goodness. You know, when you put all of this together, there's something you said at the beginning about obsession, the loving and not loving in a healthy way.
Yes.
So I watched True Crime, Zulu, and there was this particular one where this gentleman wanted to protect. They were not in an intimate relationship at that point. They used to be.
And let me remove the guilt before you go on this thing.
Yes.
In True Crime name.
Yes.
You can bring True Crime name to teach lessons about how to identify potential criminals. I also watched Nazi hunters. People followed the Nazi killers who killed the people and how they hunted them down. How they I also watched to get to know what makes... So, true crime is not always bad, all of it. It's what they're glorifying. Somebody can make it to glorify the crime. Another can make it to glorify how people escaped, how they managed to nab this person, how to identify this kind of case. So, not all true crime is bad.
Okay.
It's what it is trying to teach.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for saving me. So, this gentleman had a relationship with a lady. And then that relationship ended amicably. But then he still had an obsessive hold over her. And as she continues to lead her life, this gentleman sees this man cheat on the girl that he used to date. So the ex is watching your
future relationship.
Yes.
The next relationship.
Yes.
And then in the next relationship, this guy cheats.
Yes. So what does he do? He says he'd rather kill the girl because what he will experience with the man is more hurtful than death. It's a savior sort of...
Now that's psychopath. Do you see it now?
Yes, I see.
Do you see it now?
Yes,
the twisted reasoning?
Yes.
Now, they usually say, if you watch people like Pablo Escobar, or, people who did things.
Ted Bundy.
Do you know?
Yeah.
They say that it was mass killing. I want you to understand the following. Self-esteem, it reaches a point where obsessiveness and self-esteem come from the same root. Sometimes they manifest very differently.
Okay.
You may think I love you more when I say I can't live without you. You may think that's a sign that I love you. Me, I can't imagine you with anybody else. Me, no. Never leave me. If you ever leave me, please, no.
Now that I've had... Stop laughing like that. It's very career. With this conversation.
Because ladies have a tendency of thinking it's love.
Now I'm seeing it very different.
And he said, me, and then you think now this was the soulmate, the destination, the destiny. This is the one meant to be. No. A healthy love says, I want to see us do life together. I love you so much, you're the one I nominate to be with me for life.
Okay.
And the subscript or the footnote or the quiet accompanying message there is, I hope you see me in the same way. But I want you to know, should you feel at some point you no longer love me?
Yeah.
Another side of love is being able to let you seek happiness elsewhere. It will pain, but I cannot force you. I love you so much, I want you to be well, I want you to be happy.
Okay.
True love acknowledges that sometimes you may love people until you leave them alone because they don't want you. Seek love, obsessiveness, and low self-esteem and control says you can't be happy with anybody else if it's not me. I better hurt you, I better kill you, I don't care. This is not love, this is obsession.
It is obsession.
You get it?
Yes, I do.
Never let somebody tell you I can't imagine to see you with another person. You did not bring me to the world and you should not take me out to the world.
Absolutely.
You're not my God.
That is true.
I love you, but I don't sell myself to you. I'm not your victim, I'm not your slave. You should love people in a way that sets them free. Healthy love makes you feel free. I release you like a bird to fly and come back home. When I feel like home, I don't need to feel threatened that my wife will not come back. I make her feel at home with me.
Before we come to the end of this conversation, I just want to find out if there's hope. And if this kind of people, do they know that they have a problem? And can they get help? Is there a way to let them know that this is what they're walking through and there's help, they can be rescued from it or something like that?
Yes. Internal, soulish, spiritual problems like pride and jealousy and low self-esteem and greed, and they have a solution, but a painful one.
Oh.
Just imagine admitting being jealous of Janet. She seems to do well and I thought I was better than her. Picture yourself admitting that. For me to say, my friend Mark has been doing very, bought a car, he has a very beautiful man, they seem happy, it makes me feel very sad.
It would be a one, yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
So for me to deal with my jealousy and pettiness, I have to start with admitting. But do you know why we admit? When we realize we are actually alienating the people who matter to our lives.
Yes.
You have to admit this and change it, because if you don't, it will limit you for life. So I have to admit, I really wanted to marry Megali so much, but when I realized it is Mark who has won her heart, I hated him. For a very long time, I had a grudge, and I was looking for a chance to grow. For me to admit that, even to myself, it's very painful. But it's the only way to say, anyway, I was wrong. I can also find happiness elsewhere. So the first thing is admit.
Okay.
Those who keep asking whether there's a solution to narcissism, it starts there.
Admitting.
Yes. And then number 2 is acknowledge that you can find more lasting and better happiness otherwise in a better way than controlling and dominating people. Admit it, and then the next thing you do is accountability. Through therapy, through life coaching, through a friend. Ask them to show. We all have friends whom we know their tolerance for the success of others is small. Do you know why? Secure people are few. So because you don't want to live alone in the world, we end up putting around with people who have potential for jealousy. And we know it.
Yep.
You know that girl, you laugh, but you know.
Deep down.
She has a degree. In fact, there's a level of your success you can't tell her. Because you know whether she can handle it.
Yes.
So everybody has that degree, and we know when you find a mature person who is an easy spirit, who wishes you well, who claps genuinely, we never forget those people. There are so few in this world who can get you succeeding more than them. And I want us to be among those few.
Absolutely.
Who we can raise young ones who are more talented than us, and their star shoots. I coached some boys in secondary school when I was Form 4, they came in Form 1. They were stars. They got marks almost similar from the same school, top to the province, came to this school, and then I came from the same area with them. But they were so sharp, so they came to this school, and after Form 4, they shot. One is in UK, he was making moves, the other one politician. They bypassed me, both of them.
But are you jealous?
I'm telling you from experience.
No.
One of them was calling, asking me the best place to invest, which side of Nairobi. They're asking you where to invest, you're trying to raise enough rent for this month.
You know?
And that was the first time I was taught up close how to maintain your composure when the person you're supposed to be ahead of is ahead of you.
Absolutely.
And
such is life.
And they pass by and tell you, I know you charge, but I'll just buy tea. They give you tea that is 10 times more than your rates, what you would have asked for. And they're just buying tea. The only problem is they came with foreign currency. You have to exchange.
You will find time, my friend. You will find time.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I watched that up close.
Yeah.
And I felt like God was communicating to me, if you can handle this, now you have a journey to go.
Yeah.
Because my incubation period was very long. Like the Chinese bamboo, I hear you water it for 4 years. So my career was a very prolonged incubation period. Yeah. These boys were like this, and they were very hardworking. They looked up to me because they found me being the school head boy, and I protected them. They had heard about me, and they come here. But I go to school, one of them gets scholarship because they were very well behaved and hardworking. Absolutely. They attracted sponsors and whoever, and they came from the same. So their story went round, and they got fortune. And up to this day, they are very high work ethic, very high work ethic. I later caught up, of course. I'm no longer the inferior, but that will happen to you. The junior ones, the younger sister, the smaller one, the one you coached, the one you helped, gets a very good man. They get married, and they, Mom, will you come to our wedding? And you, Mom, you are still.
Well, yeah, you're still.
So basically, the second point is to actually practice different response in similar situations.
Okay.
It's not natural. It's not, envy is more natural.
Yes.
The comparison comes by instinct, and feeling bad that you have been left behind comes. We are all challenged when others do well, but after you've been challenged, you can simply say, "I take the challenge." You have proven to me that it can be done.
Absolutely.
I'm happy for you. And for women, the area of relationship and happiness and beauty and charm and how likable you are is very fertile for envy. God practice that for free. For women, don't even go to power. Men is about ranks and power. Men will fight over the money, the cars, the job. That's what women. It's subtle things. Just that you seem happy with this girl. And what is she laughing every day? Your laughter, Mwikali, can cause you trouble among your girls.
God.
You know, just wearing a shoe and get practice to accommodate other girls' shining, like ability. You know, and us men will make it worse. I come to Mwikali and instead of asking Mwikali about how are you doing, ask her, have you seen I'm looking for just fit?
Hey, I beg. Can't you see me?
You know? You're happy finally Julius has given you attention, only to come and use you as a middle person to get so with women it starts with very subtle things. How your parents compare between the two of you. Don't compare your children, please, especially the girls. Their competition comes from very small, very young. Especially if you ever have daughters following each other, one number two. Don't never compare them. The sibling rivalry between daughters can get very lethal. So don't encourage it. Don't cultivate it by telling them to do that. Can you do like your sister? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I'm a lecturer at that exact setting. The firstborn looks like a younger version of her. Responsible, composed, doing the traditional careers, medicine, law, engineering, traditional careers. And then the secondborn doing what secondborns do. Free spirit, modeling. A lot of jewelry and piercings.
Living her life.
Never compare. She taught me, don't compare these people. Their paths in life are very different.
That's true.
Cultivate who they are. Call out each their goodness. And when you have to compare interchangeably. Your sister works in a very strict order, so don't interrupt her space. And you are a freelancer. You just want to know things around you. Don't take time to arrange them. No problem. Nobody will bother you. I just want, after you're done all of your workstations, I want it tidy. All right?
Okay.
Mom, this one has not. Don't worry. That's your style. This is your style. At the end of your homework, I just want both spaces clean. So she told me, and both of them have turned out so well. They're friends. In fact, they don't fight. They don't fight. I said, this is a very good illustration. So start by stopping the comparison with your friends, with your siblings, those who are doing well, being promoted, being given more attention. Bosses have a tendency to pick on the one who is more welcoming. Mwikali may have a serious aura. Your personality, you're lucky. Your personality is not serious, it's welcoming.
Amen.
For you, your personality, chatty, funny, easygoing, and you know, so you can attract a lot of envy because you are smiling and the bosses are greeting you first and commenting you and using you as an illustration, as an example. You did nothing, and so this girl is seducing everybody. So since you came, they are not receiving the attention. For them, they might have, my personality has a rather serious aura. An intensity, a depth.
Am I saying yes? You know,
it's
like, you know,
I come from that place where I can tune out where I am to think about other things. For you, that's not you.
No,
You're
here.
happy to see people come.
I'm here. Here in the moment.
You know.
Yes.
And that's what, when you work with my wife, she gets more attention every day because she's more attentive to children, attentive to who, attentive to even she has to try and hide from children because they pick on her very quickly. Children and pets pick vibe, energy.
Yes.
And they can sense who is more welcoming. Me, I'm not there. I've not even noticed you. I'm not snobbish. I'm on my own. My personality is different. If I am insecure, if I don't know about my personality, I'll start feeling bad that she's attracting more attention. And that is possible if you're not aware of it. And I began to enjoy my space, how I exist in the world. In fact, I like it when I go to a place and go to the corner and mind my own business. And by the time we're out, she'll have familiarized with everybody.
And she'll be like, so let me get you up to date. You see that one at the corner?
Imagine. And
that
we
one?
Together.
So we're doing business with them next week.
And I'm being updated like I've just arrived. And we were here.
We were together.
You know, because I even put a positive effort not to start small conversations, to interrupt what I was doing. Because of that busy in the background personality, that's what happens with our personality. So it's busy in the background. I'm looking for the next point to concretize that idea. Post it, put it down. I'll lose it. Now if we talk, we'll interrupt what I was doing. So
that is what is going on.
Yes, I always have something going in the background.
Whoa.
So, and when we converse, I'm picking ideas I can build on, picking things I can build. And you can always see people like me, they're called intuitive thinkers. Their mind is very restless. Huh? So as we talk, they keep connecting ideas with others and putting down, they always have something they put in.
You know, one thing is for sure, me and Zulu will be here the whole night. If they let us. If they let us. If they let us. But I see that our time has really, really gone.
You're right.
And we need to, you know, put a cap on it. I don't know what your final words would be on this one today.
Is to not fear that your person will wake up one day and kill you. People don't kill at once.
No.
Simply pick the vibe they're sending out and respect it. You can't change people. You can only read people.
Okay.
If your partner is not showing persistent signs of jealousy or abnormality or of control and loss of esteem, if they're not showing you persistent, that are not going away, you have no reason to fear. But if there's a persistent change of moodiness, grumpy, grouchy, and just feeling bad when you talk to people, that could be danger. Seek a therapist, seek a psychologist on your own first. Don't drag that kind of person to therapy because you're asking them to admit they have a problem.
Yeah.
Start on your own privately. Okay. The more you learn, the more you're able to save yourself. Yes.
When you see them red flags, please, it's not a circus, guys. Take note and protect yourself. It's okay for you to choose yourself first. I hope you enjoyed our live today, you know, considering all the technical things that happened today. And hopefully we'll do this again.
Yeah,
yes?
Of course.
Yes! So we'll do,
so we'll be here at the same time.
Same time on Friday.
8 p.m.
Yes, 8 p.m. we'll be going live. And yeah, looking forward to all of that. Have yourself an amazing, amazing, amazing weekend. Tunawapenda sana. Adios.